Hello guys, how are you doing? So for those who don't know me, I am Yoko. I'm a Japanese living in Japan, and today I'd like to introduce the 3 important things that Donald Trump has done for me. And unfortunately though, Trump Senpai hasn't noticed me just yet, so these are the things that he has no idea of, but there are some things that, you know, I thank him for, so I'm gonna explain. But before I jump right in, let me mention that I got on the American news site named vocative.com. I hope that pronunciation is correct. So thanks to you guys, I was interviewed about the whole Trump fever that I've got, and the writer was kind enough to publish an article entirely about me and my opinions. So yeah, I want you guys to read it, so I'll put the link below, so check it out. Okay, so now we can get started. So the first thing that Trump Senpai has done for me is he got me interested in American politics. Sorry, it kind of sounds basic, but he got me hooked. And I don't think anybody else could do that, because, to me anyway, because the reason why I got interested in American politics is because he is so honest that he took away all the barriers, aka political correctness, in the American political field. I guess that I could say that what he's been doing is to expose the true structure of the American society. Like, usually, as you guys know better than me, you know, traditional politicians have the ties with their donors, and that complicates the picture of power balance and so forth. But since Trump Senpai, who's self-funded, doesn't have that kind of connections, he's been explaining what's wrong with the society sincerely, with no BS. So that gave me a clear picture, and simultaneously I realized that the US is actually in a similar problematic situation to my country, Japan. So looking at Trump Senpai fighting like that, I can't keep my eyes off of him, you know what I mean? Like, oh, Trump Senpai kind of thing. You know what I mean? Even though I'm in another country and we have a whole different set of national interests, he's the type of person that I would support in my country, and that is why it's only him, like it's only through him that I got interested in American politics. And I'm glad that it happened, because it leads to the next thing. The second thing that he's done for me is that he got me a lot of friends from both Japan and the US, and there are some others from other countries as well. But yeah, he did that for me. This aspect is very important for me because this is kind of personal, but first of all, I got interested in Japanese politics in the fall of 2012, which is when the Chinese people were massively rioting in their own country, like destroying the Japanese stores, you know, like over the territorial dispute that we have. And since then, I started to question how things are in our society. Long story short, I got interested in Japanese politics as I was overwhelmed by the truth. Like, I even had misunderstood my own father, who happened to be a conservative, thinking that he's just a war maniac or something. Like, he would talk about wars all the time. Like, I thought that he likes to fight or something. But now I look back and I see that he was just trying to, you know, show me how important it is to be a patriot. And he was also trying to prove how crazy liberals and communists are, and how they have been the problem of the world history and things like that. And just like that, since I woke up from the brainwashing by the liberals and communists, the world I see changed, like, completely. Like, it was really, really overwhelming. So, like, you know, I couldn't even believe what was going on. So out of the huge shock, I would post information on Facebook and so on with my comments on it. And so then all my friends that I used to have back then started to attack me. Just so you know, though, they were living in Japan, like in my prefecture mostly, and some still do, but those people had been my friends, right? But they didn't care what I was going through, and they didn't respect what was on the mind of this Japanese, even though they are in another country named Japan. And they kept trying to shut out my opinions and talk as if I was the dumb one even though I was the awakened one. So yeah, it was really tough. Like, they were trying to, like, I would say that what they were doing was basically cyberbullying, you know, a bunch of them versus me alone. So yeah, and they didn't have the attitude of listening, they only had the attitude of commenting and then bashing, which was awful. But then, you know what I did, guys? I said to those people, bye-bye to them, just like Trump Senpai does. I seriously did that because I didn't want to waste any more of my time of my precious life who have no respect for me nor for my country. I said goodbye to at least 10 or 11 people around me, and if I include like online friends, there were way more. At the time of my life, I thought to myself like, wow, I probably can never make friends with foreign people ever again, even though I studied English so hard, and that was so sad. Like, you know, at the time I believed that, you know, in other countries people have different opinions than Japanese people and things like that. So anyways, and at the same time I've been sucked into the American culture since when I was 15 years old, so I feel a little bit of a distance from other Japanese people, like especially conservative people, because they're so Japanese, you know what I mean? Like, you know, as for politics and history, I'm thought to be conservative, or maybe on the right side, I don't know. But aside from that, like modern daily life, I have opinions about Japan, so it's hard. Like, I have some distance with them, and so I started to feel isolated from both sides. But then guess what? Trump Senpai stood up, and I realized that, you know, there are my type of people in the US and elsewhere in the world, and it's you guys. So we're connecting, and you have no idea how much this means to me. Like, no idea. So because I was showing my support for Trump Senpai and connecting with you guys, I got to encounter the unique Japanese people who understand English, American culture, and American politics. So now we are a great team, and we go after the same purpose. And yeah, that is actually the third thing that I'm gonna talk about. The third thing that Trump Senpai has done for me is he made me realize the purpose of my life, which sounds so huge. What I mean is, as I said earlier, I got interested in Japanese politics in 2012, and I've been a somewhat influential YouTuber here in Japan, but I didn't know exactly where I was going to, like what I was supposed to do and what I was supposed to work on, and I didn't know what kind of attitude I was supposed to have and things like that. But recently, thanks to the environment that Trump Senpai has given me without him knowing, I learned that my role is to study more about both the Japanese and American politics, and I also need to polish my English and stuff. But my biggest mission, I think, is to be the bridge between Japan and the US, because it will keep out all the international threats. You know, Japan and the US, that's like one of the strongest alliance ever. Yeah, we will unite more and more with other countries as well, and that will be great. So these are the three things that I am thanking Trump Senpai for, but the reason why I talked about these is because I want people to know that the labels that liberals and communists put on Trump Senpai are way off. So now I want you guys to pay attention and think with me. Is Donald Trump really a racist? Is he really spreading hate? Is he really dividing the US and elsewhere? Because I think not. Because I rather see protesters blocking the highway and creating a wall which they claim doesn't work. It works, and it's not hate. And plus, they think that they are fighting for American people, but actually they're not stopping Trump. They were blocking the innocent American people, which doesn't make sense. And I rather see protesters spreading hate at the peaceful rallies of Trump, and I'd rather see protesters discriminating Trump supporters while those supporters have every right and valid reasons to support Trump. And protesters also say that Donald Trump is the embarrassment of the US, but let me tell you, I've said this before, but I'm from the outside of the US, but to me, especially because I regard the US as the type of nation which respects democracy, freedom, and rule of law, it is so odd to see those protesters imposing their own values onto the people with different perspective, different opinions. So when I see those protesters, this is only my personal opinion, but I feel embarrassed for them, not Trump. I'm considering that they're supposed to be American, that is, because I expected that all American people would respect the national polity of the US. Just saying. Like, I can't emphasize this enough, but Donald Trump is not spreading hate. He's spreading love, rather. It's the establishment and liberals or communists who are spreading the hate against him, and that's why some people misunderstand the big picture, especially when they don't have enough media literacy. And Donald Trump is not dividing, he is uniting people like myself with you guys, and not only in the US but also in the world. And also the fight that Donald Trump is in, it's way bigger than people think. There are many more people involved in this than you think, so that's why I'm speaking up from my country even though I can't vote. Anyways, I'm gonna go now, so thank you so much for watching, guys. Be safe when you talk about politics. I'm safe because I'm in Japan, or am I? I don't know, but please be safe and I will see you guys soon. Bye!